and you're going to want to revisit this like crazy. Okay, this is going to be so good. It's going to be so good. And listen, I love getting better, and I love getting better together, because when we get better, things get better, right? When we get better, things get better. And so I want to welcome everybody tuning in literally from all over the world. We've got a number of different continents, forget countries. We've got a number of different continents represented on here tonight. So welcome from wherever in the world you are. And I just want to tell you something. 2021 is going to be a breakout year for you. It's going to be a year of quantum leaps. But understand this, nothing changes until something changes. Nothing changes until something changes. And so this tonight is about creating change in how you see goal setting, creating change in how you approach goal setting. It's about creating change in how you act on the goals you set, how you systematize the processes you create, and how you do and achieve, most importantly, the goals that you set. And I want you to understand this. Goal setting is a skill. Nobody's born a great goal setter, okay? It's a skill. It is 100% learnable. And tonight, we're going to deep dive into it. And here's the truth, okay? This probably could have been a 10-hour masterclass. I'm going to do my best to give you as much content as I possibly can in a short amount of time, okay? And then we're actually going to send this out to you totally free tomorrow. Everybody who's watching this now is going to get the copy of it, so you can watch it back. You can share it with friends, family members, teammates. But understand that we're not naturally good at goal setting. Nobody's born a natural goal setter. We learn that. But understand this, that goals are really the compass of our life. And life is too short to be playing it small. It's too short to be playing it safe. It's too short to not achieve the goals that we set for ourselves. And so listen, your goals, I like to think of our goals as life's coming attractions. It's the preview of where our life's going to be. See, all things in the world are created twice. First in the mind of man, and then second in reality. And so you've got to be a great goal setter if you want to be a reality creator, okay? And so understand this. Goals direct you towards your destiny. They direct you towards your destiny. They bring richness and fulfillment and joy into our lives when they're done properly. They give us so much to look forward to work towards. They give us meaning and purpose. But when they're done haphazardly, when you are an amateur when it comes to setting goals, okay, understand this, they can leave us feeling defeated and down and less than. And so I've got a couple of questions for you as we begin tonight. Number one is, how would it feel to know that you could confidently set goals and know with absolute certainty that you're going to achieve the goals that you set? How would that make you feel to know that you have that power, that control? Okay, the next question I have for you is, could it be that what we know about goals is wrong? Could it be that what we know about goals is wrong? And so the third question I have for you is it possible? Is it possible that you could make a couple of small, minor adjustments, tweaks to how you're setting goals right now and scale your results in 2021 like never before? The answer, I believe, is I think so. I think that tonight you can get a couple of missing pieces, that you're probably 90, 95% of the way there, maybe 99% of the way there. You get a couple things that you see a little differently, you think a little differently, you internalize, you create a process a little differently, and your results are going to scale. They're not going to double, triple. It's going to be exponential. And so there's some things that I hope that you get from tonight, that I want you to get from tonight. Number one is hope. I want you to get hope that even though you may have failed before, maybe miserably when it comes to setting goals, you set goals and it's like a shoo-in that if you set that goal, it's not going to happen. Even though you failed before in the past, doesn't mean that you have to fail into the future. I want to tell you a really quick story. You know, last year in one of our businesses, we set a major goal. It was a huge milestone. It looked impossible. We tried to rally our team behind it, and we fell short, and it was painful. It was a painful public loss. It was a painful public loss, and it wasn't just a loss for me. It was a loss for all of the people in that business that we didn't hit that goal. And man, listen, it was soul crushing. It was soul crushing. And so at the end of last year, we looked at that with a little bit of vengeance. With a little bit of vengeance, and we said, you know what? We're coming back after that goal in 2020 with a dadgum vengeance. We're coming after it twice as hard. And just about a month ago, we actually hit that goal and accomplished it. We checked it off the list. It was incredible. It was unbelievable. But I want you to know that even people who are professionals at setting goals and accomplishing them are going to fail. We're going to fail from time to time. Okay, but you only lose when you stop competing again for that goal. So number one is I want to give you some hope that just because you haven't been a great goal setter in the past has nothing to do with how good you're going to be in the future. Number two, okay, is I want to get you some confirmation tonight that some of the things you're doing are right on, that you're already on the right track. And sometimes confirmation that what I'm doing is right is all that you need to throw it into the next gear and let it rip, right? So I want to give you number two, some confirmation. Number three thing that I want to give you tonight is some awareness in some of the areas where you're weak, maybe some mistakes you're making, maybe some areas where you can make a little improvement and get a big result. So I want you to get aware of them and then to create a plan to eliminate those areas of weakness, right? Okay, number four is I want you to start taking action on these goals. This is not about learn. This is about learn and apply. See, knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. And so you're going to take some massive action. Coming out of tonight and into tomorrow and January 1st, you're going to be taking massive action towards your goals, okay? Next is that I want you to have some insight on how to develop the habits, the processes, and the systems to keep moving. So you don't just start your goal like so many people will on Friday, but that you actually stick with it and achieve your goal, right? And we're going to talk about some of that, okay? And so understand that, right? I'm going to give you some tools to keep moving, okay? And at the very end, I'm going to give you guys a couple of opportunities to be able to connect with me further to keep those moving at an even greater pace, okay? And then listen, like I said, this is really supposed to be probably a 10-hour course. I mean, I have so much content on this. I'm going to do my best to unpack it and to put it back together with you in these couple of hours. But make sure you got a pen and paper. You're going to be taking a ton of dadgum notes, okay? And so understand this. There's a lot you're probably going to need to watch again, okay? So you're going to leave here tonight, some of you, and you're going to feel like my brain has exploded. I'm on content overload. What do I do first? Okay, and you're going to feel overwhelmed. And so it's okay. You're probably going to need to watch this back a couple of times, which is, by the way, why we're going to send it to you. Okay, so you're going to want to watch it back a couple of times and understand that learning to be a great goal setter is a skill set and a process, and it's completely learnable, and it comes from practice. Okay, so don't worry if you don't get it all right away. You're not going to get it all right away. That's why we're giving this to you to rewatch again, okay? Here's the other thing I want you to understand. You're going to get some stuff tonight that's going to change your life in a big way. It's going to surprise you. You're going to have a little tweak, and it's going to change your life in a big way, okay? And so understand that it's going to change your life in a big way, and you need to be a student of this material, so not only your life can change in a big way, but that you can teach this to other people. One of the greatest gifts you can give to people is teaching them how to win, teaching them how to go get what they want out of life, okay? But listen, again, don't be surprised if you feel like you need to go back and watch this again. If you feel like you make some headway, I'm making some headway, Ian, but I'm not, something's missing, I'm not getting it all together, go back. Watch it again. It's not the end of the world, okay? Here's the truth. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And you're going to learn some stuff the second, third time through this that you didn't catch the first time, okay? So I'm going to give you a lot of techniques, okay? I'm going to give you a lot of techniques that are gonna operate on a lot of different levels, okay? From novice, maybe you're brand new to self-improvement. I know we have some homeschool moms on here tonight. I know we have some real estate agents on here tonight. I know we have people from the ministry, all sorts of entrepreneurs from all sorts of industry. Maybe you're a novice, maybe you're brand new. This is for you. Maybe you're a pro. Maybe you're making 7 figures a year in your business right now, and you're just trying to sharpen the axe. Listen, there's some mastery level stuff. I'm going to be talking on all those levels at the same time, okay? So get ready and understand that you're going to be listening to the same things, but you're not going to be getting the same things out of it, okay? So this is going to be, here's how this is going to work. You're going to see kind of a pattern tonight. You're going to be learning and then building upon that knowledge and then going back to what we learned and building again and going back and building again. And so we get a really good firm foundation and structure, and then we're going to apply, but we're going to hear things a few times. That's on purpose so that you get, it's not just in one ear, out the other. You actually get it and can apply it, okay? So let's talk about why I wanted to do this. You know, Rick, who it helps me in so much stuff. Everybody give a big shout out to Rick behind the scenes here. Let me get a drink real quick. Hopefully y'all don't mind. Excuse me if I'm having a little bit to drink here. Don't worry, it's just my favorite bubbly water, okay? Excuse me. We're gonna be talking a lot. We're gonna have some fun. Hopefully you don't mind, I'm just a little casual, okay? And this is gonna be a great time. But I want you to understand here, about 2 weeks ago, I called Rick. I'm like, Rick, I just have something burning in me right now that I need to get out. You know, at the end of every year, Jess and I go through our goals. We go through our goals from last year. We set our goals for the coming year. And as we started talking about it, I would just literally, I couldn't go to sleep. I had so much burning on the inside. I called Rick. I'm like, Rick, you're going to hate me. Okay. But the day before New Year's Eve, I want to do a goal setting boot camp. And, you know, normally when I do these boot camps, right, okay, there's a charge for them. I know there's a lot of you on here who just took our time mastery class. I know there's a lot of people on here who did our 14-day challenge earlier this year. And every single day, literally every day, I get messages in my inbox from people whose lives have been changed from those, okay? But there's always a cost to it, right? Because what you don't pay for, you don't value. And I said, Rick, I want to do this for free. I just want to do it for free. Not only do I want to do it for free and give back to so many people who've had an interesting year, some of you have had a rough year. Some of you have lost some people. Some of you have lost your livelihood and you're reinventing yourself. Some of you are in a dark place and you're not sure. And I just wanted to shine a light. I said, man, before we come into this new year, let's finish 2020 strong. And I said, Rick, I want to do it. I want to do it for free. Not only do I want to do it and do it for free, but I want to do something that makes a difference. I want to use this platform to make a difference and to literally change the world. And so as you saw in some of our emails that went out, I want to introduce you tonight before we get started to a ministry that means a lot to Jess and I. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it first, and we're just going to watch like a 1-minute video. I promise it's going to be really quickly. But here's my ask from you tonight. Here's my ask. Tonight, after the meeting finishes, we're going to send you all an email. And we're going to send you a link to a ministry very near and dear to our hearts called Angel House. And I'm just going to ask you, in lieu of having paid for the class or any of that stuff, if you would be so moved is to consider making a donation here at the end of the year to Angel House Ministries. It would just mean the world to me, and I know it would mean the world to Angel House. So what is Angel House? Angel House is a ministry that Jess and I have been partnered with for a lot of years. And what they do is they open orphanage homes in India. They open orphanage homes in India, partnered with the local community there. And they take orphans off the street, many of whom don't even have names. They don't know their birthdays. They have no knowledge of family. They've been orphaned since they were old enough to talk or remember. And in India, if you don't have an address, in many places you can't go to school. And so the fact that these children are homeless and wandering the streets is basically a death sentence to their dreams. They'll never get into the school system. Because they'll never get into the school system, they'll never have an opportunity at a real fair shot at life. And they become cast outs and castaways. They become nameless and faceless and forgotten. And what Angel House does is they partner with the local communities and they build homes for these kids, 25 child homes. And they take a group of kids in the local community, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and they take 25 of them off the street. And for the first time in their life, they have a family. They have a bed to sleep in and a home to call their own. They get registered for school. They get 3 meals a day. They get house parents that love them. And what I love about the ministry is these kids grow up together from 5 years old to 18 years old. When they get out of the house, when they become an adult, the next round of kids comes in. And it's a sustainable project. It's something that we've given to that years later is still making a difference around the world. And so many of you know, but Jess and I and one of our teams in 2016, we opened our very first Angel House for 25 kids in India. It is absolutely unbelievable. And we said, hey, to cap off the year of 2020, because it's been a bizarre year, but man, we want to do it again. And so we've committed to opening Angel House number 2. And so actually, as of tomorrow, we'll be underway on our second Angel House, another 25 children rescued, given hope and a purpose and a future. And so what I'm going to invite you to do, listen, we've got the house. We're doing that, okay? But here's some of the things that you can do. You know, Angel House has some extras that they can do for these kids. One of them is clean drinking water. There's no plumbing and running water in many of these areas. And so many of these kids will walk for miles and miles on end just to get water to drink with, to cook with, to bathe in. And so one of the things we can do on this house that we're going to do is put in a well, a fresh water well. So these kids have water right there in their home for the first time in their life. Getting them backpacks for school, shoes, and new clothes. And you know, as I was talking to Rick, I'm like, Rick, I don't just want to open a house for these kids. I want to show up big. I want these kids to have the best Angel House opening in the history of Angel House. We just want them to feel so loved and so blessed. And so I just want to ask you, I want to encourage you, if you feel so led at the end tonight that you would maybe make a contribution. Guys, you could contribute $1, you could contribute $5, you can contribute $500. It goes right to Angel House. We're not involved in it at all. It is a tax deduction, so you can actually write that off this year, and you're helping a ministry that helps the forgotten. It says in the Bible that true religion is caring for the widows and the orphans. And so that's what we're doing. I want you to watch this video real quick. It's 1 minute long, and then we'll be back and jump into some content.
At the very beginning, we set goals, what we thought we could accomplish in our lifetime. And in 5 years, we'd actually already accomplished those goals. So now what's next is we want 100,000 kids off the street. I knew that they were waiting on me to come back, you know, and thousands more are literally waiting on me to come back. And so as I've told the story of Angel House to 5, 10, turning into hundreds and now even thousands of people, I can't even describe the momentum and the passion behind people as they're joining with us. $25 million orphans that are waiting for a home right now. We have a huge job to do, and I feel the pull and the responsibility to use my life and my voice to tell everyone their story. There's so much more to do. When there's 25, 30 million of these kids that are literally waiting for a home, that we've only just scratched the surface and we're just getting started. If someone wants to help, you know, people ask all the time, what can I do? How can I help? There's really 3 different things that any person can do. Different levels that people can get involved is you can build a home with us. We build homes for 12, 25, or 50 children. You can rally your friends, your family, your business. You can build a home with Angel House. Another thing that you can do is become a monthly donor. We call that a guardian angel. That any amount of money every month will help support the entire mission of Angel House, which is rescuing kids off the slums and putting them into a safe and loving home. And lastly, you can build a water well, a clean water well. Every child in a home receives clean and fresh water, but actually the entire community.
So listen, it's an honor in my life to be partnered with a ministry like Angel House. Lindsay is actually a friend of ours. And guys, listen to this. They've opened almost 300 of these homes so far. And we've been privileged to do one. This is going to be our second one. And we'd invite you to partner with us. Help us open a well for these kids. Help us to give them shoes and backpacks and clothes and make a difference. You know, what they say is you're truly making a difference when you do something to help somebody that can never do anything back for you. And so tonight at the end, we're going to send you all an email. There's a link there that'll take you right to this project. You're not giving to some random thing. You're giving to this project, to these kids. And man, I'm just so excited. It gets me a little emotional to be able to share that with you. But thank you so much for considering that. All right, let's get started. And I want to tell you a little bit about our process, okay? So, and then I'm going to give you the structure of the night, and then we're going to jump in, okay? So, you know, one of the things Jess and I do at the end of every year is we get together, we do a goal date night. And Jess keeps all of our goals that we set the year before, okay, recorded. And the first thing we do is we review last year's goals. Now, many of you already lost there. You're like, I don't know where last year's goals are. Well, out of sight, out of mind, right? So you got to write these things down. When you put this together, you got to write them down. You got to put them somewhere where you can revisit them. And we do a couple of things, okay? We do a couple of things. Number one is we look through that list and we reevaluate. We reevaluate. Sometimes what we find is at the end of the year, we look at that goal, say, we didn't hit that, but we didn't even think about that goal again. It sounded good. It made us feel good at the time, but it wasn't something that was truly ours. We didn't internalize it. And so one of the things we do is reevaluate and remove things that got on that goal list that the priorities changed. It wasn't a priority anymore. And maybe this year it isn't a priority going forward. And one of the things we do is we do a lot of removing. We do a lot of removing. Now, this flies right in the face of some contrary wisdom, right? Remember what I said? Is it possible that what we know about goal setting could be wrong? One of the things that you've heard, and I've said this a lot of times, is listen, when you don't hit the goal, you don't lower the goal, you raise your activity. And that's great truth. That's great truth, provided it's a meaningful and impactful goal to your life. And sometimes we set goals around things we think we want, we think we should want, others would want us to want, but they're not really our goals. And so one of the things that we do, and literally the first thing that we do, is scratch out the things that no longer matter. And what we do there is we avoid what I call goal burnout, okay? Goal burnout. Goal burnout is when you have so many goals, okay? When you have so many goals that you do none of them. And I don't know if any of you can identify with that, but you're like, man, this is awesome and this is great and I want to do this over here. And you got 12 goals for your fitness and you got 13 goals for your life and you got goals coming out of everywhere. And you have so many goals, so many wonderful things that you don't get around to doing any of them. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we get rid of goal burnout by reevaluating and removing the things that are not A-list goals, okay? They've got to be A-list goals. These have to be major impacts to our life. Guys, life's too short to be majoring in the minors. You got to find the things that matter. You got to find the things that turn the knob, and you got to go after those, and you can't let lesser things get in the way. So number one thing we do is we reevaluate. Number two thing we do is we recommit. We find the ones on the goal list for last year that we didn't hit, but matter, like the one I was telling you about earlier. We didn't hit it, but it means something to us that we hit it. And we recommit harder. We recommit again. We say what we did last year wasn't enough to get us here, but it's still a valuable goal. It's still something that means something to us. It's going back on the list, but it's not just going back on the list. It's going back on the list with a renewed fervor and commitment. If you can't put it back on the list with renewed fervor and commitment, get it off the list. Get it off the list. Okay, you got to recommit. And number three is we reimagine. We begin to dream bigger. We begin to look at what we did accomplish and push the envelope further. And every year, there are new things that come up on the inside of us, new goals, new dreams, new visions that get put on the list. So we take things off of the goal list. We recommit to the ones that deserve to stay. And then we put our new passions, our new vision on it. Okay, and so I want to encourage you guys before January 1, You got to get with your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, get alone, you, me, myself, and I, right? Okay, get alone there and get that list evaluated, recommitted, and reimagined. A better way to think about that is we have on this list things that we want to stop, things that we want to start, and things that we want to finish. We have things we want to start, we want to stop, and we want to finish, right? And then we have things that we want to add. Okay, so that's what's going to make up these lists. So here's the structure of tonight. This is what we're going to be going through tonight. Number one is we're going to go through some prerequisites, okay? So here's our structure tonight. We're going to do some prerequisites. What are some of the things that you need to know? What is some of the mindset, some of the ideas that are going to help you become a master goal setter? Number one is the prerequisites, okay? Number two is we're going to talk about how to set and accomplish monster goals, big goals, goals that move you into a new place in life, okay? How do we set massive monster goals and accomplish them? Number three, we're going to talk about why most goals don't work. Many times we can learn more from what's not working than what is working, okay? Next is we're going to talk, number four, about strategy. Goals are fantastic. Strategy is what lets you execute on those goals. That's truly where most people have the biggest problem is strategy, okay? Number five is we're going to talk about taking action, okay? We're going to talk about taking action, massive action, why you need to do that, okay? And number six is this. You're going to have to talk about, and this is the big one, the process. The process is where you make your money. The process is where you make your improvement. The process is where you turn a goal into reality. You turn a goal into reality. And so we're going to talk a lot about these six things tonight. And so let's get started, okay, on number one, which is what? The prerequisites. So let's talk about the prerequisites when it comes to being a master goal setter, being able to set a goal and know that you can deliver on it, okay? Here's number one, okay? Number one is this. You need meaningful goals to be your best, okay? Study after study. I was researching for this. Study after study after study shows this. Is that you're never as fully alive as you are when you're pursuing a worthy cause. Goals give our life meaning. Your ability to set captivating and impactful and motivating goals not only moves you to a place of purpose, but gives you a purpose along the way. You're never as fully alive as when you're pursuing a worthy cause, okay? And I was listening to a book by Jordan Peterson the other day. He said something. He said, perhaps happiness is really found climbing the next hill and not in the momentary satisfaction of the current peak. Let me say it again. He said, perhaps happiness is found climbing up the next hill and not in the momentary satisfaction of the current peak. And that's what goal setting is about. We've hit this level, and where do we go here? If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a dream, if you don't have a vision that you're pursuing, you're dead on the inside. It's like Ben Franklin said, most people die at 25. They're just not buried till 75 because they get out of setting goals. They don't believe they can achieve them, and their life becomes void. It becomes void. And so there's something called the LOCKE, L-O-C-K-E, the LOCKE goal setting theory. I want to share a little bit of this with you, and we're going to dive into some of these prerequisites. And so in the LOCKE goal setting theory, this is where this idea that happiness and fulfillment come from pursuing a worthy goal that stretches us beyond our current capacities and capabilities. That's where real happiness comes. If your goals are too easy, you're going to be bored. If your goals are too hard, you're never going to try. It's that sort of perfect mix. And we're going to talk about how do you find that? Because that's one of the questions I get all the time. How do you know how to set goals that are big enough to move you, but not so big that you don't subconsciously disbelieve them, right? And we're going to talk about that. But in Locke's theory, there's a couple of components that create powerful and impactful goal setting. Number one component in Locke's theory of a great goal, a goal that's going to move you and impact you, is there's got to be great clarity around your goal. Most people that I meet, their goals are completely ambiguous. I want to lose weight. Okay, fantastic. How much? Well, I don't know. By when? Well, I don't know. Okay, that's not clarity. I want to make more money. Well, how much? Well, I don't know. By when? I don't know, right? I want to have a better relationship. Okay, in what way? How will you know that you've done it? You've got to get really crystal clear on your goals. Most people don't have goals, they have wishes. They have pleasant ideas, but they never take the time to get clear. When your goals are clear, they have the ability to move you because your subconscious, we're going to talk about this, guys. Listen, God, oh my gosh, I wish we had 10 hours together to do this. Okay, but listen, your subconscious doesn't understand lose weight. It understands a number, down 20 pounds by June 1st. Your subconscious understands that, and you can begin to act on a target because lose weight, what is that? 1 pound, 18 pounds, 81 pounds? We don't know. You've got to get clear. You've got to set goals with good, measurable metrics, okay? Here is a great way to tell if you're doing that, okay? How will you know when you achieve your goal? How will you know? If it has a solid metric that's easy to understand, it's easy to measure, I'm going to lose 20 pounds by June the 1st. I'm going to make an extra $100,000 this year. I'm going to get married this year. Okay, hypothetically, right? You would know if that happened or didn't happen, right? Those are clear, specific goals with metrics. Okay, you've got to have clear, specific goals. Number 2 is it's got to be a challenge. It's got to be a challenge. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Okay, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. You've got to set goals that are in what I call the sweet spot. I want you to think of goals, okay, and their relative challenge on this sort of challenge continuum from very easy, okay, to impossible. So here's your sort of continuum here, okay? Most people don't set goals with any clarity, so we have no idea if it's easy or hard. I want to lose weight. Well, that's not hard if it's 1 pound. It's probably impossible if it's 300 pounds and you only weigh 250, right? So if you're not clear, you can't even begin to understand the challenge. But once you get clear, you've got to pick goals that are in the sweet spot, that are not so easy that they bore you, but not so challenging that you don't believe them. Not so challenging that you don't believe them, okay? Here's why, okay? When they're too easy, you become bored and they don't motivate you. Goals are like gravity. If you understand anything about gravity, the bigger the mass of the object, the more gravity it has. Why does the Earth have more gravity than the moon? It's larger. There's a bigger gravitational pull. Goals are like gravity to your dreams and to your future reality. Okay, the bigger the goal, the more gravity, the more pull it has on you. You get pulled towards your goals if you're a great goal setter. Have you ever been unmotivated to hit your goal? That's why. That's why. There's no gravity. You're like, I could easily do this. It's not a challenge for me to do that. You've got to have some gravity, okay? But you can't have the black hole, okay? The black hole is something so massive, the gravity sucks everything into it, never to be seen again. The black hole is the goal that's so big, watch this. Your subconscious, you're right, your subconscious says no. It says, I don't believe that. It says, that is too far out. I don't believe that can happen. And so when our goals are so big, I'm gonna make $1 million this year, and you made $30,000 last year. That's going to be a goal it's not impossible, but to you it's impossible because your subconscious doesn't believe it yet. And I could do a whole nother seminar training your subconscious to believe bigger, because when your subconscious believes bigger, when you give it bigger goals, it doesn't say no, it says, okay, I can see that. If your subconscious says no, it doesn't matter what your thinking says. Watch this, okay? Watch this. I'm going to show this to you over here, okay? Many of you have read my book, you've done my masterclass, okay, and I talk about the concept of T-bar, right? Thoughts become beliefs, become actions, become results, okay? Goals are thoughts. They start as thoughts. Here's something I want. Here's a place I want to go. Here's something I want to do. Here's an accomplishment I would like to do. They are thoughts. They exist at the conscious level. You can decide upon them, okay? They then have to filter through your what? They have to filter through your belief system. So you have a new goal, a new vision that you write down, okay? It's a new thought, okay? And that new thought, in order to become a result, in order to get what we want, has to go through this process. It's got to pass through belief. Here's the problem. This is where the subconscious resides. And if the subconscious says no, then you have a misalignment. You have a misalignment happening here. Imagine, here's your sort of faucet here, right? Okay, you got the two things here, okay? And so here's what's happening. The water is coming up, right? The water is coming up, and if the faucet is open, it can flow freely. Flow freely. When you close the faucet, what happens is this little piece down here, right? This little piece down here swings up and blocks the water from going through. And you get a blockage. The flow stops. And so many of our goals and our visions stop before they ever really get started because we have a subconscious blockage to them. We don't believe, because it's so outlandish, we don't believe that it's possible. Well, listen, our actions are always going to follow our belief. And so we set a goal that would be awesome, it'd be incredible, it would be unbelievable, okay? But we don't believe it. And so we never act on it, right? We have the best intention to lose that weight. We have the best intention to get that promotion. We have that best intention to take our sales up another $1 million a year. But it's so big that we don't believe it. When we don't believe it, instead of creating alignment, we get out of alignment and we stop the process, and it never makes its way to action. It never makes its way to action. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find something that is right in the middle, in the sweet spot between too easy and unbelievable. Here's a great way to understand it. It's got to stretch you beyond your current capacity, okay? But within the realm of possibility. Let me say that again. It's got to stretch you, okay? It's got to stretch you beyond your current capacity. If it doesn't stretch you beyond your current capacity, it's not a goal. It's not a goal. You can already do it, okay? That's a choice. It's not a goal. Do you see that? A choice is, I know how to do this, I can do it, and I'm choosing to do it. A goal is, I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to do it, okay? It's got to be beyond your current capacity, okay? But within the realm of possibility, right? You've got to believe it to be possible. So it's got to stretch you beyond where you are, but be within the realm of possibility, which is why you've got to constantly be self-improving. It's why you get on stuff like this, is because when you change how you think, when you change your belief systems, when you upgrade your thinking, the realm of possibility expands. See, my goals 10 years ago don't look like my goals today. We all start somewhere, right? We all start somewhere. And when you find that sweet spot on the continuum, right? And now this becomes your current capacity, what happens? Your continuum moves from here to here, right? And then over here, and then you're off the dadgum charts. Everybody understanding this. You got to have challenge. You got to have challenge to it, okay? Number 3, in Locke's goal theory, okay? This is so good. Oh my gosh, okay? Is you've got to have what they call a secure emotional commitment. One of the reasons people fail at their goals is they simply are not emotionally connected to them. They sound good. We'd love to have it. It'd be fantastic if it worked out that way, but it doesn't wake us up in the morning and get us up at night. It doesn't move us to action. It doesn't push us past discomfort. And so the goal, the best way to understand this, the goals must mean something to you. Folks, if your goals don't mean something to you, why are you pursuing them? Just to get to an empty spot? The world's full of that. You need to set goals that mean something to you, that create a secure emotional commitment, a secure emotional commitment. If you're not, and listen, that doesn't mean you just quit stuff that you're not emotionally attached to, okay? It means if it's, listen, you start with the end in mind. If it's a worthy cause that's going to change the world or change you or both, then get emotionally committed to it. Get a mentor, right? Go through the process of getting emotionally committed. This is so good. I got so much more. It's unbelievable. We're just getting started. I'm thinking, how am I going to get through all of this? It's unbelievable. Okay, next, okay, is you've got to be constantly gaining feedback. Okay? To have a successful ability to set and achieve goals, you've got to be gaining feedback. You've got to be seeking that feedback out. Now watch this. See how this all plays together. Remember what I said earlier. We're going to learn, we're going to build. We're going to learn, we're going to build. We're going to revisit we're going to construct a dadgum castle here of goal setting achievement in your life. Okay? You've got to get feedback on the goals. And here's what happens. Most people set outcome goals. They set outcome goals, right? Here's what I want the outcome to be, right? I want to have this much weight loss. I want to make this much more money. I want to get this promotion. I want to have this happen in my spiritual life. They have outcome goals, or what? Results goals. They have results goals, okay? They have results goals. The problem with results goals is twofold, okay? Outcomes. Number one is they don't actually help you to achieve them. These are basically directional. They set your direction, but they don't give you a system, right? So I want to lose 20 pounds by June. That's sufficiently clear. I want to look great in my swimsuit. I'm motivated. I got these people coming over the summer, and they're going to look at me and they're going to be like, holy smokes, right? And so you're sufficiently emotionally connected, okay? But you don't have a process. It doesn't give you the system. Saying I'm going to lose 20 pounds by June doesn't tell you how to lose 20 pounds by June. And that's where so many goals die, is we've got a great idea and no system and process, right? And so what happens is when we set outcome goals only, we don't get the feedback necessary to make course corrections along the way. For example, I want to lose 20 pounds by June 1st. Well, when will I know if I did that or not? June 1st, maybe earlier if I did it earlier. But it's feasible that I could potentially be off track the entire way and not do anything to course correct because my feedback loop is too long. My feedback loop is too long. Watch this, okay? This is powerful. This is powerful. My feedback loop is too long. What is a feedback loop, okay? Here's the goal. Okay, here's the goal. We create the strategy. We act on the goal. We get feedback. Is the goal working? Am I doing enough? Am I doing not enough? Do I need to change something? And that feedback allows us to keep on pace or to change something here, right? Okay. When this feedback loop takes an entire cycle of the goal. So if it takes the entire goal cycle for you to get the feedback, what is the chance of making a correction before you need the goal to happen? And the answer is 0. And that's what a lot of people do. They get started and they have outcome goals, but they don't give them a strategy. It's I don't know how to do it. So they don't even start, or they start doing something, but the feedback loop takes so long that by the time we realize we're not hitting it, it's already passed. Right? Watch this. When you set input goals, what are input goals? Input goals are goals around the action that create the outcome. So for example, I want to lose 20 pounds by June 1st. That's the outcome goal. What are the input goals? Well, an input goal might be, I want to eat 2,000 calories or less every day. That would be an input goal, right? So over here, right, we'll just say it's the calories, right? Okay, the second input goal might be, I want to do cardio for 30 minutes every day. Maybe the third input goal is I want to work out 3 times a week. So these are what we believe will help us get the result. They're still goals because we're not doing them right now, right? Okay, so they're still goals, but they're input goals. By doing these, we automatically get that. By doing the inputs, we get the outcome. Here's the beauty of the input goal. The feedback cycle is super short, okay? If you want to eat 2,000 calories a day, and that's your plan to lose 20 pounds in 6 months, as part of the plan, how long do you have to wait to see if you're off track? And the answer is 1 day. Now, with the output goal, you had to wait 180 days. You could be wrong for 179 days and have no clue and come up short. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever set a goal you felt like you worked towards and you came up short? Why? Feedback cycle, feedback loop is too long. When you have input goals, you could get, now if you want to run for 30 minutes a day or walk for 30 minutes a day, how long is it going to take you to know if you're on track? 1 day. What about going to the gym 3 times a week? What's that feedback loop? That feedback loop is 1 week. You would have 26 chances to adjust, 26 chances to recommit, 26 chances to just make an adjustment here before that outcome goal actually happens. This makes sense to you all? And so you've got to have gaining feedback and creating goals that give you short feedback loops. What am I saying to you? Short feedback loops. So you know if you're on track or not. You know, they say when they launch a space shuttle to go to the moon, that 98% of the time, the space shuttle is off track. It's off track. And they're just constantly course correcting. It gets a little this way and they fire a thruster, it goes over here and it overcorrects. And because the feedback loop is so short, it eventually gets where it's going. But if you just let it go off track for a month, it'd be way over on the other side. The same thing happens with our goals. We've got to set short-term input goals that create our long-term outcome goals. Let me say that again, okay? This is some of your problem right here. Just this right here will change your life, okay? You've got to set what? Short-term input goals to create long-term outcomes. Many of us are too focused on long-term outcomes and not focused enough on short-term inputs, right? And because we're not focused on short-term inputs, we don't get the feedback and we miss the long-term outcome. You get focused on the short-term inputs that create the long-term outcome, and you're going to be dangerous when it comes to goal setting, okay? Last thing here, okay, in the lock goal theory, okay, is you've got to have the right task size. And again, this goes back to input goals, okay? When you have, listen, every goal, no matter how big it is, let's say this is your goal, right? Okay, this is your goal here. Well, your goal is really comprised of a bunch of these smaller pieces, okay? Big goals are created by taking little goals and stacking them together. And so your ability to take and isolate a piece of this, to isolate a piece of it into a manageable, measurable task, okay, and accomplish the piece here, allows you to move forward. Again, when you're shooting at everything, you'll hit nothing. This says, let's take our effort, our energy, and let's put it into a task size that's manageable. And then your big goals don't overwhelm you. You can set monster goals, and if you can break them down into manageable tasks and their subsequent inputs, you win. There's nothing you can't accomplish. Let me draw you a picture again, okay? Let me draw you another picture. Think about it like this, okay? You have the monster goal, right? You break the monster goal into manageable tasks, and you break the manageable tasks down into the input goals that create them. Okay, that makes sense? So I want to lose 20 pounds by June the 1st, hypothetically. What are our manageable tasks? Okay, what are our manageable tasks? Well, let's say controlling diet. That's easier to do than losing 20 pounds, is controlling what I eat today. Doing some cardio, also easier to do that than it is to lose 20 pounds over 6 months, to go on a 30-minute walk today, right? Okay, and then going to the gym. Those are our manageable tasks. And then we take those and we make input goals around them, right? I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times. I'm gonna do 30 minutes a day. I'm gonna eat less than 2,000 calories. What did you do? You took a big goal, you broke it into the manageable tasks, and then you created the input goals around it. When you do that, it doesn't matter what this is. This could be become a billionaire, okay? And you could break it down into the manageable tasks. Now, you might have multiple levels of manageable tasks, right? But any big goal can be broken down into its component pieces. Because of that, you have the capability to achieve it, even if you've never done anything like it before. But you've got to have, what is this? This is process, baby. This is, what did I tell you? Where do most people jack up their goals? In the processes. They got wishes, they sound great, no system, no process, no accountability, nothing to stick to, and then the goal goes by the wayside to be thought about again next year, right? Okay, so listen, let's keep moving. How are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good on time here. Okay, so let's go back and let's revisit here as part of the prerequisite, okay? The psychology of goal setting and understanding, again, what happens. Your goals, when you write goals out tomorrow or the next day, or if you've already done it, okay, you have engaged in a conscious awareness process. You've thought it through, you're rationalizing, you're evaluating. That is happening at the conscious level as a thought. Your job, listen, your job is to move from thought to result with that new goal, right? I have a desire about what I want over here. I've got to move it through this process. Again, the first place that you're going to go is you're going to have to go and take this and make it into a belief. Have you ever heard this, right? Have you ever heard you should write your goals down twice a day? Have you ever heard that? I've heard that before. You probably heard that before. Let's understand the why, because when we understand the why, then doing it makes sense. Have you ever met like a kid, right, that he doesn't know why he's being told to do something, so he rebels against it. But once he understands the reason why, it's like, oh, duh, I do want that. I understand. I'll do it now. Same thing. Why does somebody give you the advice to write your goals down twice a day? What is writing your goals down twice a day doing? It's trying to, through repetition, take something that is not a current belief. Listen, if your goals were currently beliefs, you would be acting on them and living them. Okay, that makes sense? Because they're not current beliefs, you don't have the action or the result yet. When you write it down twice a day, what are you doing? You're trying to take a thought and cram it down into your belief system. That's why they tell you to do that. What is the purpose of repeating those goals and writing 2 or 3 times a day? Or maybe saying them out loud. That is all a process to move from where the goal originates, which is our thinking, and to put it into our belief system where we act on it, where we actually do the goals that we set, right? Okay? And so that creates a lack of alignment. Remember that, okay? Remember alignment, okay? You've got a road here, and you've got things traveling up the road, okay? That's the road. When one of the road pieces goes across, you now have a blockage, okay? You're out of alignment. This is what's happening to almost all of you who fail continuously to hit the goals that you set. You've got an alignment. What you want consciously and what you believe subconsciously are not in alignment. And you're having that limiting hit, and it never makes it to action. You act for a day, a week, a month, but you don't stick with it. Why? Because you're violating that process. What stops alignment? Number one, it's a lack of belief, right? You don't believe that you can achieve that goal, okay? That stops it, okay? Number two, Number two, watch this. This goes back to feedback loops. Remember, learn, build, learn, build. Number two, okay, is you lack visible results. And so what happens here, again, let's say with working out, because it's an easy example, you've gone to the gym 3 times this week. You're sore, it hurts, but you don't look any better, right? You are suffering from a what? A lack of visible results. And so you might have thought, well, this will work, but all of a sudden this door swings shut and says, well, I don't see it working. I don't see it. And that's one of the dangers of being outcome goal focused, is when you don't see the outcome, you can create your own misalignment. You've got to get obsessed. Say it, obsessed. You got to get obsessed with the input. You got to get obsessed with the input. You get obsessed with the input, you do not run the risk of creating a misalignment, okay, because you lack visible results. You're not looking for the outcome, you're focused on the input. You're not looking for the outcome, you're focused on the input, okay? So listen, okay, let's talk a little bit about basic goal stuff here. What are goals, okay? Goals are clear, they are measurable, and they have a timetable, okay? Goals are what? Clear, measurable, and they have a timetable. So is I want to lose weight a goal? No, it's not. Why? No timetable, no clarity, okay? No timetable, no clarity. That's called a wish. I wish for this to happen, but it's not actually a goal because I haven't given myself a timetable, okay? And I don't have any measurable way to do this. I don't know, okay? And third, I don't have any clarity, okay? That's what a goal is. A goal is always going to have these components, okay? That any goal. A good goal is going to also have, what do we talk about? Emotional connection. Going to be emotional connection, and it's going to have a good feedback mechanism. The best goals have all 5. What are they again? It's clear and concise. It's measurable. It's on a timetable. You have an emotional connection to it and a short feedback loop. Those are the components for a great goal, okay? A great goal. So you got to avoid goal setting sabotage. What is goal setting sabotage? Goal setting sabotage is when you think you have goals, but they're missing these 5 things or some of the 5 things. You are set up to fail if your goals don't check those boxes. Now, this is something probably most of you have never heard before. You've never seen those 5 things all together, okay? But I want you to stop and think about it. You got a clear goal, it's measurable, okay? You got a timetable on it, but you don't care. Are you gonna hit that goal? Absolutely not, right? It's emotionally connected. You got a timetable, it's gonna be incredible, but you don't get any feedback on it. Are you gonna hit that goal the first time around? Probably not, okay? It's gotta have those 5 things, right? Okay, it's gotta have those 5 things. Here's another great way to think about what goals should be, and I call it READ. Okay? I call it READ. Number 1 is it's got to be real and realistic. It's got to be real and realistic. What does that mean? In my book, I talk about goals don't work. And it's true for most people, goals don't work, okay? Because they're not following this. Most people have goals that are not their own. You got your mom's goals for you. You've got society's goals for you. Maybe your spouse's goals for you, your kids' goals for you, your boss's goals. You got everybody's goals in your head and in your heart except yours. And they're not real to you. They're not real. They don't matter. And because they don't matter, you're dead in the water. You have sabotaged here. Okay? You sabotaged yourself because it's not real and again, realistic. Right? It can't be so big that it's off the continuum of what you can believe, okay? If you don't believe you can accomplish it, you won't act on accomplishing it, okay? So number 1 has got to be real and realistic. Number 2, again, is it's got to become emotional. It's got to be emotional to you, okay? Now, guys, listen, okay? Emotional engagement is a skill. It's a skill. Now, there are people who are more emotional than others. Yes, yes, or yes, right? Okay, that has to do with our wiring. Okay, but we can learn to emotionally engage in goals that matter to us. But not out of control emotion, but directed and controlled emotion. It's got to be emotional, okay? It's got to be authentic. It's got to be authentic. What does that mean? Again, this has got to be something that's true to you. It's got to be a goal that matters to you. You know, people talk about their why, and one of my buddies always says most people lie about their why. They lie about their goals. What they say they want, they don't really want. They're afraid or embarrassed to talk about what they really want in life, what they're really motivated by. Guys, you got to get rid of that crap. You got to you're like the dadgum self-made man, and you got to pick up that chisel, and you got to start hammering yourself out of that dadgum stone, and you got to go after what you really want. And when your goals are authentic, they resonate with you. I'm going to take you through an exercise here in a few minutes, and I'm going to show you what I mean, right? I'm going to show you how we goal map, okay, and how we find the things that are authentic, because the truth is that this is all inside of you, but it's been piled upon by the garbage of society and other people's expectations and fit in this mold, and you got to chisel that thing out, okay? And they've got to be direct. They've got to be direct goals. They've got to be clear. You've got to understand exactly what they mean. Not I want to make more money. That's not a direct goal. It's not a direct goal, right? I want to have a better spiritual life. Not a direct goal. I want to improve my marriage. Not a direct goal, okay? It's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable. You got to be able to have some metrics on it to know if it's happening, okay? So knowing this about goals, here's probably one of the best questions we can ask, okay? Here's one of the best questions that we can ask. How do we create goals that matter to us? How do we create goals that matter to us? So I want to give you what I call the massive goal formula. Now, guys, what did I tell you at the beginning? I told you this is going to be dadgum fire hose tonight. I'm going to hit you with so much stuff. You're going to watch this 2, 3, 4 times before you get all of it. But the goal isn't that you get all of it. The goal is that you get what you need. The goal is that you take the things here that resonate. That's why I'm teaching you different perspectives of similar things, right? Because you might gravitate to this more than that, okay? Here's the massive goal formula, okay? I'm going to write it out here. Let me get a little bit bigger piece of paper here. Okay, here's the massive goal formula. Ready? High expectations. That's the start. Remember, we're always going to be limited on the belief continuum, right? On the belief continuum or on the challenge continuum. Here's impossible, okay? The bigger your expectations, the wider the array of goals that you can achieve, right? When you have small expectations, or in other words, you have smaller views of what's possible, you're gonna close, you're gonna condense, you're gonna consolidate the range of goals you can achieve. When you have high expectations, high belief, you open wide the range of possibility of what you can be doing. We've got to be having high expectations. What's another way of saying this? Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself with small thinking, okay? Because thoughts become beliefs eventually, actions and results. If we have small thinking, we're gonna have small results. If we've got small thinking, we're gonna have small results. We've got to start with high expectations. Multiplied, okay? Oh, let me move this here. High expectations. Multiplied, and you see that a little bit better? Okay, multiplied by what I call sustainable strategy. Some of you are going to say, I want to lose weight, 20 pounds by June 1st, and my plan is eat nothing but legumes. No protein, no bread, I'm just going to eat legumes. I'm going to know every sort of legume. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to be, you're going to call me nuts. No pun intended, right? Okay. Well, that's not a sustainable strategy. If your goal in your mind requires you to do something unsustainable, it is doomed. It is still sabotage to set goals that don't have sustainable strategies. Watch this. I'm going to be a millionaire this year. My strategy is I'm going to play the lottery. To do that, well, that's a non-sustainable strategy. The more you play, the higher your chances are you lose over time, not that you win, okay? So monster goal setting starts with this formula of high expectations, big belief, multiplied by sustainable strategy. Little things I can do every day. I can break it into its component pieces, and I can do those pieces with relative simplicity every day. It stretches me because I'm not doing them now, but it's possible for me to do them, right? Sustainable strategy. Don't sabotage yourself with unsustainable activity. Times, okay, so high expectations, times sustainable strategy, times commitment to the process. Commitment to the process, okay? So what is the process? The process is daily input goals that we get feedback on and we make corrections and adjustments to. And we understand that we get focused, fixated, and obsessed with our inputs, not our outcomes. When we are focused on only our outcomes, the commitment to the process wanes, it lacks. When we are not committed to the process, we'll stop the process. And herein lies, I read some studies the other day on this. It says about 70% of people that make goals, watch this, that make goals, make them within 7 days of the new year. Okay, so most people that have any goals at all make them within 7 days of the new year. Within 30 days, approximately 80% of those goals they're not doing anymore, okay? They've abandoned them. What happened? They weren't committed to the process, or they didn't have a sustainable result, right? Okay, or they had a goal that was so simple it didn't pull them. They didn't have any sort of traction or gravity towards it. This is the massive goal setting formula, okay? You gotta look at your goals and say, do they meet these three criteria? Do I have high expectations? Do I have a sustainable strategy? And am I committed to the process of achieving them? When I have those three things, I can crush this. I can crush this. And here's the deal. When it comes to the process, here's what I want you to understand when it comes to being a master goal setter, okay? So much of this is internal, okay? Here's the deal, okay? Write this down. Progress, not perfection. So many people give up their goals because they didn't achieve them the first time. So many people, it's like, Nailed It. You ever seen that show where they're making the cakes or whatever, and they get a model, and then they got to make it, and it looks horrific. They say, nailed it. Right, progress, not perfection. The truth is, we're never going to be perfect, but are you succeeding at your inputs? Did you do a day or 2 days where you did your inputs? You're making progress. You're not perfect, but you're making progress. When you are focused on progress instead of perfection, you can commit to the process, and that process is what gives you the ability to stay through your goals long enough to actually dadgum achieve them, You got to have progress, not perfection. You got to have progress and not perfection. So let's talk about why goals fail. Okay? Goals don't work. Goals don't work, at least not for most people. Why do they fail? Why do they fail? We've talked about it a little bit, but I want to dive in even deeper now to understand this. Here's what I want you getting from this. I want you listening to this saying, do I do this thing? Am I doing this right now? Not like, oh, man, I wish my husband was here, because he does this all the time, right? Okay, listen for you. Listen for you. Am I doing some of these things that cause my goals not to work, okay? So we got to learn from what doesn't work, not just what does work, okay? Well, the number one reason goals fail is people don't even bother setting them. because they failed before in the past. And so what did I tell you at the very beginning of this? Just because you've maybe not had a great track record of success with setting meaningful goals that you accomplish doesn't mean you can't do that now. Because now you have new information. When we know better, we do better, right? Okay, so they don't bother setting them because they failed so many times. Well, of course your goals aren't going to work if you don't set any goals, right? Okay, if you don't have a goal, you'll hit it every time. If your goal is nothing, you'll always succeed, right? Okay, so number one is it's vague. It's vague. It's not clear. It sounds good, but it's not. There's nothing for my subconscious to latch onto. It's vague. It doesn't move me, right? Okay, I want a new car. Okay, what sort of car? Why do you want that car? What color is it going to be? How are you going to feel driving it? What are other people going to think about you when you see? How's it going to feel to make a post standing in front of it? Okay, see that's clarity. The opposite of vague, right? Vague is, I want to do that. I want to, start running. Okay, fantastic. How far? Half marathon, a full marathon? Where do you want to run the marathon? What do you want your time to be? What's it going to feel like to finish it? Right? That's clarity. The opposite of vague. Listen, I want to lose weight. I want to be happier. I want a new relationship, make more money, find love. Okay, well, what exactly? How much and by when? Those are the things you need to do, okay? Number two is they're emotionally disconnected. Either because they, number one, have a goal that's really not theirs, they're not emotionally connected, they haven't built that practice, or number two, this is big, this is that psychology again, okay? They fear failing and getting hurt. Remember I told you the story, the goal we worked on last year, and it was a crushing blow. And I was tempted to stop pursuing that goal publicly or to not even announce it because I knew there was a chance that would happen. And I didn't want to emotionally connect because I knew that if I lost, it was going to hurt. Folks, it's supposed to hurt when a meaningful goal comes up short in your life. It's supposed to hurt. That's okay. You feel alive. You don't know the glory of success until you felt the agony of defeat. It's okay. Most people live their life in this little emotional amplitude here, right? Every day is the same, right? Your life should look like this, right? So you know those highs because you know the lows of having a meaningful and purposeful goal that you just fall short of, okay? You're emotionally disconnected. You're emotionally disconnected. Number three, no alignment. No alignment. We talked about alignment, right? Okay. You think an aspirational thought, okay, and then that thought is intercepted by a subconscious, listen to this, firmly rooted in the reality it created. That's going to take you 2 or 3 times again. Okay, let me say it again. When you have a misalignment with your goals, you have a thought about an outcome, a goal, something you'd love to have, achieve, do, become, okay? And it's exciting and it's aspirational. And that aspirational thought then gets intercepted, okay, by a subconscious, listen, that is firmly rooted in the reality it created. Remember, where you are right now, remember T-bar, right? Thoughts, beliefs, action, result. Where's the subconscious? Belief. The belief directs the action gives you the result, okay? Your subconscious created the results you have right now. It created it. And so when you have a new thought that is intercepted by a subconscious firmly rooted in its current reality, okay, you're going to have some misalignment, which is why you've got to work diligently on reprogramming your belief system. You say, Ian, how do you do that? How do you do that? There's no way on earth we have some time to do that today, but I did a masterclass on my book where I have exercises about how do you reprogram your brain to stop intercepting your goals before they can come to life, right? Wouldn't that be a good thing to learn? Okay, because it's stopping a whole heck of a lot of you from the God-given dream on the inside of you because you won't take ownership of your thinking and belief system. Folks, I'm sorry, it fires me up because it's so simple. It's not easy to do, but it's simple to understand. And when you understand it, when you know better, you can do better. And so guys, listen, at the end, I'm going to give you a couple of ways we can connect, and that's going to be one of them, to go into 2021 with a plan and a system to improve your thinking so that you can improve your ability to execute on these goals. Okay? So alignment. Number 4, size matters. Size matters. Number 4, your goal is too big and you don't believe it. Your goal is too small and you don't care. Okay? Size matters. Okay? Why else do goals not work for people? Okay? Next, they're all outcome-based. So outcome-based with no strategy. Remember, the strategy are the inputs. The input goals are the how. How are we going to do that? Remember, the outcome goal is great for direction, but doesn't give you direction. It gives you direction. It lets you move directionally, but it does not direct you. The input goals become the strategy. They are the goals around how you will achieve the outcome base. And so goals don't work for people who only have outcome bases because the outcomes don't give you any tool to get there. It's just a wish. You got to break your outcome down into the manageable pieces and the subsequent input goals. When you do that, okay, you win. It's game over, okay? Next, reason goals don't work, okay? We talked about this a little bit, remember? Learn and build is the feedback loops. If feedback loops are if it takes too long to figure out whether you're achieving your goal or not, you'll probably not achieve it, at least not the first time around. You need short feedback loops to do something called PDCA. This is plan, do, check, and adjust. The feedback loop is check. Your plan is the goal. Your do is the action. Check is the feedback loop. If something's wrong, we need to fix it. Don't just keep doing what's wrong, right? Don't just keep doing what's wrong and hope for what's right. That's not how it works. Not how it works, all right? And lastly is a lack of discipline and accountability. By default, your goal is trying to get you to do something you've never done before. That's going to require you to do things you've never done before. Most people, myself included, are not good at getting ourselves to do things we haven't done before with any form of consistency. That's why we need to create disciplines, have processes and systems, and accountability. To have mentors, groups of people, okay, systems of accountability to help you begin to traverse from thought to belief to action, right? When you start acting on your goal, eventually if that becomes a belief, it gets automated and it becomes habitual. And that's what we need to do. We need to take the new actions created by the new goal, and we need to create a habit out of those. The faster you can create that habit, the more quickly you're going to achieve those goals. And that comes from creating disciplines, which are processes, and having accountability so that you move through where you might not have moved through before, okay? All right, fantastic. Let's keep moving. Holy smokes, this is good, guys. Dang, I'm gonna have to watch this back, okay? So let's keep moving. So we talked about what? We talked about some basics, some prerequisites, okay? We talked about goal thinking. We talked about some of this, the understanding of what goals are and what goals aren't, okay? We talked about why goals don't work. Now we're gonna start talking strategy. The strategy is the what? It's the input. It's the what I'm going to do. See, that's where a lot of people write their goals and have no plan for the goal. Well, how are you going to achieve the goal if you don't have a plan? Planning and strategy are an equal part of the goal, right? A strategy without a destination is running in circles. A destination without a strategy is wishful thinking. A strategy with a destination is achievement, okay? And so let's talk about the strategy, and specifically something I like to call goal mapping. So we talked about what goals are. We need to be emotionally connected to them. We need to be, they need to be clear. They need to have a feedback loop. They need all these things. How do you find these? How do you find these? I call this goal mapping. It's something Jessica and I do all the time. I do it by myself, okay, multiple times a year. And this is how I create, identify, create, and hone in on, okay, to focus in on the most meaningful, right-sized, motivating goals out of all the things I want. Because again, you can have goal overload. If you just start writing out all your goals, you're like, this sounds great, that sounds great, and you got so many goals, you have no time to focus on them, you achieve none. You've got to learn a process that I'm going to show you here to get everything on the table and then to systematically weed it down into the things that really move you, that you really connect to, that are important, that move the ball down the field, that get you closer to your goals and dreams and destiny, and to begin to create the strategy on those. Okay, so here's goal mapping. Okay, and I'm gonna give you a concept called the 4 F's. If you took my 14-day challenge, you know the 4 F's. Okay, I'm gonna call this though 4 F's and an I. 4 F's and an I. The 4 F's are the 4 areas of life where we got to be great at goal setting, and not just goal setting, but goal achieving. Because when we achieve in these areas, we live a wonderful, happy, fulfilling, directed, and meaningful life. If we're missing one of these 4 F's, okay, we might succeed in one area, but we haven't been a success. Folks, what sort of success are you if you have a lot of business success, but your kids don't respect you and you lose your spouse? What sort of success are you? What sort of success are you to have all the money in the world, but to be far from your creator who made you? That's not success. What sort of success is it to be at the church every Sunday, every Wednesday, at every prayer meeting, but you're so broke, you lose your house in Jesus' name, okay? You can't pay your bills. All your creditors say, who would want to do business with this person? You're bumming money. You're always telling your family no. What sort of example is it? You got to win in all 4 of those F's, right? What are the 4 F's? They are faith, family, fitness, and finance. I'm giving you here my exact process that I use to create goals that are in the most important areas, get a lot of emotional energy around them, and run off down the road 1,000,000 miles an hour out, okay? I'm going to set goals specifically in the area of faith, family, fitness, and finance. When Jess and I go through our goals, they will be broken down into these 4 areas plus I, okay? What is I? Okay, I is improvement. What am I doing to change my thinking? What am I doing to upgrade my thought process so that I can have bigger goals next year? I'm going to have faith, family, fitness, finance, and improvement. Those are the 4 areas that I'm going to begin to goal map in. So let me show you what goal mapping looks like. And we're just going to take a minute and we're going to do this. You don't need to write this all down, but you do need to do the exercise, okay, by yourself or with your spouse. Okay, so let's just use the area of, let's use finance. Okay, let's use some area of finance. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write the word out on a piece of paper, and I'm going to give myself 2 minutes, not 10 minutes, not 20 minutes. If you got to think about your goal for 20 minutes, it ain't a goal. You don't care, okay? Some of you are like, I need to pontificate and really think about it. No, you don't. This is an exercise to let what's in you flow out of you. Not have to put something in you that ain't there, but let what's in you flow out of you. And I'm just going to begin writing things that matter to me, that come up to my mind, right? Okay, so $1 billion, right? $1 billion. You know, I'm going to start writing things like net worth. I'm going to start writing things like private jet, right? I'm going to start writing things like debt-free, right? I'm going to write things like maybe retire mom, okay? I'm just going to begin to start brainstorming all the things that have to do with succeeding financially that are on the inside of me, right? I'm just going to do this for 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm going to get 20, 30 things here written out. I'm going to get 20, 30 things here written out, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at those things. I'm going to look at those things, and I'm going to circle the ones that I just have some emotional energy with. Like, man, I want to retire my mom. She's been working too. That's a big deal to me, right? Maybe it's retire my spouse or get my kids in private school, okay? New car, okay? There's no right or wrong. Here's the key. Here's the key, guys. There's no right or wrong. Don't be subconscious. Don't be thinking about it. Don't think right. Right? We don't need you thinking and filtering. We need the subconscious, what you really are motivated by, starting to come out, right? Okay, starting to come out. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to write it all out, and here's what you're going to get. You're going to get stuff, a new car. Well, that's probably an achievable thing this year. Becoming a billionaire, most likely not an achievable thing this year. So what's going to happen is you're going to get a smorgasbord. You're going to get a smorgasbord of different things that mean stuff to you. Circle the ones that matter. It might be 15, 20 things, okay? And here's what you're going to do. You're going to do, this is super high level. There's no rhyme or reason. You're writing it all out, and then you're going to circle the things that excite you. You're going to circle the things that excite you, okay? And here's what you're going to do, okay? You're going to rewrite the things that excited you in categories: long-term, medium-term, short-term. So short-term is within 1 year. That's a short-term goal, okay? Medium-term is 2 to 5 years, okay? And long-term is what I would consider 10 years plus, okay? 10 years plus. These are basically always going to be outcome goals. These most likely are going to be outcome goals. These are going to be a mixture of outcome goals and input goals for these two. Everybody understanding that, right? Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to look at these things, and then you're going to focus here. You're going to write these down because these are directional. They give you direction, okay? But here's where the money is. Here's where the impact is. These are the things you can do now. You can do this year. You can accomplish in the next 6 months or 12 months or 18 months that add up to creating these bigger things, right? And then once I have this done, I've got my list. Remember, this is everything and anything. I took the things that excited me. I now have what excites me and is achievable within a moderate time frame, right? And now what I'm going to do with these things is I'm going to begin to reverse engineer them. I'm going to reverse engineer them. Here's a couple of questions I'm going to ask you. And this is what you need to ask yourself. What would, so let's say the goal was, make $50,000 more this year. That was the goal. Next 12 months, I'm going to make $50,000 more in my home-based business. I'm going to make $50,000 more in my real estate career. I'm going to make $50,000 more trading Bitcoins or whatever you're doing, right? Okay, so it's specific, it's clear, it's emotionally exciting to you, right? You're engaged in it, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer, okay? What is the question you need to ask? The question is this. This is the $1 million question. What would I need to do to make that a reality? What would I need to do to make that a reality? Let's say you wanted to make $50,000 this year in real estate. Well, what would you need to do that? Well, I could sell real estate. I could invest in real estate. I could wholesale real estate. I could create rental real estate. I could do vacation rental real estate. I could flip homes. Those are different ways that I could do that, right? So what would I need to do to make that a reality? Let's say I wanted to sell real estate, hypothetically. I don't, okay, but let's just say you did. Okay, well, what would I need to do to make that a reality? There's that $1 million question again. Well, I'd have to get licensed. I'd probably have to learn about real estate. I probably need to get a good mentor. I probably need to join a brokerage. I probably want to read about real estate. I probably want to listen to some podcasts, watch a few videos from people who've been really successful, maybe take a course or get some coaching from somebody who won there. Those are all answers to the question, well, what would I need to do to make that a reality? Yes or yes, okay? Well, let's say it's getting licensed for real estate. Well, what do I need to do to make that a reality? You guessed it. There you go. Look how good you are already at this, right? Okay. Well, I probably need to take the class. I probably need to pay the fee. I probably need to schedule that into my schedule. Okay. Well, what would I need to do to find the class? I'd probably have to Google that. I'd probably have to register for it. I'd probably have to pay for it. So what could you do today to make $50,000 in real estate? You have nothing to do with real estate if you wanted to sell it. Well, today you could Google where the classes are. You could block them off. You could pay for the class. You could do that today. That could be your goal. Those are input goals with extremely short feedback loops. Tomorrow, you know whether you did that. Now, when you did that, guess what? Now you're on your way to having this happen. Okay, great. What about this one? How do you do? Does this make sense? This is the strategy I call goal mapping. We start with everything in the world you're fired up about in that area. We whittle it down to the things that excite you, okay? So let me write this out in a different way, okay? What are we doing? Okay? We start with everything we're fired up about, okay? We whittle it down to what excites us most. We triage that into long, medium, and short-term goals. We take the short-term goals and we continue to ask ourselves the $1 million question. What's the $1 million question? What would I need to do to make that a reality? And what we end up here with is a bunch of input goals that create the chunked pieces of the much bigger outcome goal that you want. Everybody understand that? This is the strategy in the process. So you don't just have a pretty goal on paper, you have a way to make that goal a reality. That's what this is about. Setting monster goals and actually doing them. Finishing. Getting the results you want. In that why you're on here? Any dum-dum can write a bunch of goals on a sheet of paper. That doesn't take much work. This is where the work is. The work is in how am I going to do this, okay? And how am I going to make this a reality? So what are you doing, okay? You're creating outcomes, right? Outcomes you want, whittling them down into inputs, You're chunking them into achievable pieces, and then you're refining them. You're refining and prioritizing. Now, here's the key. Ready? We don't want goal overload, right? So your 4 F's and your I, you should have no more than 2 outcome goals in each one of those categories. Folks, no more. In fact, what I like to do, honestly, is have 1 in each. Here's one thing that's going to move my needle. It's going to make this happen for me. And I'm going to focus on that. And I'm going to break that down into its inputs. And I'm going to hammer on those inputs till I get this that I want. Right? Some of you got 18 goals. You don't have time to do 18 goals. Okay? You don't have that. It's not going to happen. Okay? So you got to identify and prioritize. You got to identify and prioritize. In the 4 F's and the I, no more than 2. You say, well, I got more than 2 that are important. They're not all equally important. What is the most important? Work on those and then go back and see them, okay? So let's move now. Holy smokes, guys. Are you getting a lot out of this? Oh my gosh. I mean, you're gonna need to watch this 2-3 times. You should, let me show you this, okay? I got papers galore here, guys. I got papers galore. That's how much stuff we're going through. It sounded like the daggone ocean in here as I'm walking through these things, okay? So listen, now we're talking about action. So we understand what goals are. We understand how to put them together. We understand what makes them work, what makes them don't work. We've gotten some vision on how to create the strategy to get them. Now, what do? You've got to actually do these things here. Now, you might say, Ian, you said that action's the byproduct of belief. How am I going to act if I don't believe yet? And the answer is you're going to double dip. You're going to double dip, okay? Remember T-bar, thoughts, beliefs, actions, results, right? Okay? So here's what we're doing. We have new goals. That's new thinking, okay? And we have some things we can do that we've whittled it down. So now we have some actions that we can take. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to assault belief from both sides. We're going to assault belief from both sides. Here's why, okay? Your subconscious, when you tell it something, it's like, sure, I heard that before. When you tell it something and then it sees you acting on it, it says, whoa, wait a second. I know this is conflicting, but this might be trying to get me to learn something, okay? This might be getting me to try to learn something right now. Guys, listen, when you act on your input goals, you assault your belief from both sides. You double dip assault on that belief, and you break that belief down much, much, much quicker, okay? So you've got to, listen, okay? I'm going to write this down. You got to act as if. Here's another $1 million question. What would somebody who's already achieved this be doing right now? How would they be acting? How would they be responding? How would they be thinking? What would be valuable to them? Act as if. You got to look at that goal. You got to say, what would I be doing if I was already the person that had achieved this? And then do those things, right? Okay. What would somebody who's living this reality, this is your goal, what would somebody who's living this reality be doing right now? And then do those things, do those things. So here's what we're going to do, right? Here's some of the actions you're going to take to start doing on the goals you set. Number one is you got to write them out, okay? You got to write them out at least once. Do you need to do it every day? If you want, but you got to write them out at least once. Number two is you got to make them into pictures. I'm a huge vision boarder. Some of you saw a live I did the other day where I walked up to my vision board and pulled something down out of my vision board. Right now, it's got a lot of white space because it's the end of the year. We pulled off the things we've accomplished, right? A picture is worth 1,000 words. I want you to do me a favor. If you're not driving right now, you're somewhere where you can safely close your eyes. I just want you to do me a favor and play along with me here for a quick second. I want you in your mind's eye, I want you to remember for me your earliest childhood memory. Just go there for a quick second in your mind. I want you to see it. Now, open your eyes up here real quick, okay? Let me ask you a question. Did you see in words? Did you experience that memory in words? Or what was the primary thing that you experienced that memory with? It was picture, it was vision, sight, right? Okay, maybe emotion, but primarily vision, okay? Your brain, specifically, your subconscious thinks in images. And so if you're trying to move from a conscious new thought, which is a goal, to a subconscious belief system that helps you take action autonomously and automatically, you would be wise to feed it what it eats, which is images, which is images, which is images. You got to get a dream board up and you got to do it quick. Okay, you say, well, I don't want to spend the money on printer ink for my dream board. Okay, well, you already lost on your goal then. Okay, listen, you got to create a vision and a picture. Number three is you got to create a self-talk. Okay, your brain thinks in pictures and listens to one person chatter incessantly 24 hours a day. Who's that person your subconscious gets to listen to? You. You're constantly internally dialoguing with yourself, okay? And so what I like to do every January 1st, I take those 4F goals, those outcome goals, and their inputs, and I record a self-talk. My talk from this year is 5 minutes, 24 seconds long, okay? And here's what it is. It's me affirming my new goals and my new input actions, right? Okay, for example, I run 2 miles every day effortlessly and with lots of energy, I run an 8-minute mile consistently. Now, I'm not Usain Bolt, okay, but I'll put down an 8-minute mile if I need to. Okay, and I'm talking to myself about my goals. What am I doing? What am I doing here? Thoughts, beliefs, actions, results. What am I doing? I'm taking this and I'm assaulting the belief with it. I'm just hammering it all the time. New belief, new belief, new belief, new belief, okay? Number 4, if you want to act on your goals, make them public. Make them public. You got to put a little bit of what is this invoking here? That's creating emotional attachment. When other people know you have a goal, now you got to, or get off the pot, right? You got to make it happen. When it's internal, you can hide on yourself. You can just play it safe. You can hide out. Nobody really knows. You lose. You feel the dissatisfaction, but nobody else compounds that. But when you're committed to your goals, when you're ready to make something big happen, you got to shout it from the dadgum rooftops. When I wrote my first book, you know what I did? I put a picture out, okay, talking about the book that I was writing. I just started it, but I used this tool to help achieve this goal. I put public pressure out there. Everywhere I went to speak, people asking, how's your book coming? When's your book coming out? What are you selling it? Who's publishing your book? Book, right? I put it out there. So everywhere I went, I created what? I created accountability by making a public proclamation. Some of you need to go public with your goals. Some of you secret agent on your goals. You just got to make that one change. You got to get bold to put it out there. And all of a sudden the fear of God comes in you that you got to make something happen because everybody's watching. Man, your supporters are watching and waiting, and your haters can't wait to see you fail. Either way, you got that pressure to go do. You got that pressure to go do. Number 5, if we want to start taking massive action on our goals, okay, we got to set up a reward punishment system on the inputs. So let's go back to the weight loss, right? You say I'm going to eat 2,000 calories this week or a day every day. I'm going to walk for 30 minutes every day. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times this week. Okay, at day 7, you got to have a reward there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a new purse for some of you ladies. Maybe it's going out to eat at your favorite restaurant. Just make sure you don't violate your 2,000 calories. Maybe it's, your spouse watches the kids and gets some alone time. You got to put a reward in a feedback loop that knows I'm getting a reward, so I'm going to keep it. Day 5, it's like, dude, I'm 2 days away from this reward. Let's go. Let's make it happen. You got to put a reward punishment system out there. When I do my input activities, I'm going to reward myself. When I don't, I'm going to have a punishment out there, right? I'm going to put something out there. One of the things I do with one of the groups I mentor is I say, hey, look, put your goal out here, but if you don't get it, you're paying $50 into the pot and we're giving it to charity. That's the punishment. I hit my goal, and if I don't, I pay. I don't want to pay. Some people will work harder to avoid a $50 penalty than they will to make $50,000. It's crazy to me. But whatever works for you, you got to do. It's not right or wrong. Okay, it's good. Understand this. Okay, understand this. You got to act big now. Not later. You got to act big now. And here's why. Remember the feedback loop that we talked about, right? Okay. When you're acting big, here's what's happening. When you're acting big, you actually interrupt the feedback loop, right? Because if you don't act, here's what happens. Here's what happens. Ready? Where's your goal? Your goal is at the thought level, right? It's got to get through beliefs into actions that become results. If you're not taking action here, the belief is blocking the results. Remember? It's creating a misalignment. It's creating a misalignment. And so here's what happens. Your belief blocks your new goal thinking. You never act on it. And the results say, see, you weren't for real. You weren't serious. Some of you you've done this so long, you have people that'll tell you that. It ain't even you. Other people are like, yeah, all right, I heard that before, right? Okay? When you act, when you take massive action, when you do, what would somebody who has this be doing? When you do those things, when you do those inputs with massive action, not only are you hitting the belief from both sides, but you actually begin to interrupt this feedback loop. It never gets here to feed back and say, see, that was stupid, that was right. It stops here and says, I'm doing something. You gotta act big now. And the truth is this, you're gonna have a lot of action before you have a lot of result. So you gotta fall in love with acting. You gotta put your vision boards out, you gotta fill things around, okay? You gotta have self-talk like crazy, okay? And then listen, the last thing you need to do when it comes to action, remember what I said? We're gonna learn and build. We're gonna learn and build. We're gonna learn and build. Oh my gosh, is this good or what? Holy smokes. Okay, so listen, okay? We're gonna plan, do, check, and adjust, right? What do? We created our goal mapping, we got the strategy, and we started to do what? To take action, right? To take action. When we take action, we get a feedback loop. We say, is this the right action? Is this the right amount of action? Is this sustainable action? Is this do I need something else? Do I need a coach? Do I need a mentor? Do I need a book? Do I need a podcast? Do I need to watch YouTube? Okay? And then we can what? We adjust our actions. We tweak them out. We make minor adjustments, and those minor adjustments make all the difference in the world. Let's keep moving, guys. We're gonna get through this together. Holy smokes, man. Okay? So let's talk about the process. Remember the action formula? Remember the formula for massive goals? You gotta be committed to the process, okay? You need to have daily, weekly, and monthly actions. So these are actions you can do every day, actions you do some amount of times a week, or actions you do monthly, and you need to have check-ins or accountability on those actions, feedback loops, right? So what happens here is you start working the process, you do your daily disciplines, you check your feedback loop. You do your weekly disciplines, you check your feedback loop. You do your monthly disciplines, you check the feedback loop. Here's kind of what this would look like, okay, if you were gonna write it out. Weekly, monthly. And you're gonna list off your stuff here, right? You're gonna list off your stuff here. And then you're gonna create a tracker, okay? You're gonna create a tracker daily, weekly, and monthly, and check off that it's done. Okay, today I did my dailies. Today I did at the end of the week, this week, I did my weeklies. At the end of the month, this month I did my monthlies. If you didn't do it, what do? You adjust, right? You adjust, you make some changes. You get recommitted, you don't stop, you get more accountability, not less, okay? And so what you do is you create that daily, weekly, monthly. I would create the master list, and then I would have a tracker. Now guys, in just a minute, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to connect with us on a deeper level. I told you I got so much stuff on this, and I'm gonna give you the opportunity to engage with us on a daily basis in the month of January, working with my tracker, my goal tracker, daily, weekly, monthly, to get those habits moving. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that in just a second. Okay, you get your reward punishment in, and the key is this: you've gotta create some consistency. Okay, you have to start But that's the easy part. People put the goals down, they start. Most of the time they start, right? But what did I say at the beginning? 80% within a month or 2 weeks have stopped the goal. So you got to start, right? But you got to not just start, you got to stay consistent. You got to stay consistent. You do this by creating the new actions into habits, right? Habits take what? About 60 to 70 days if you read my book. It's not 21 days. 21 days don't make a habit. They make a pattern. 60 to 70 days makes a habit. So you got 60 to 70 days, but the most critical days are the first 30. You got to crush those first 30 days because here's what most people do. They don't start January 1 and they don't start at all. They start January 1, but by January 5th, they make an excuse, they take a break, and they don't get back started. If you can get through the 30-day mark, and you can have a process that you trust, you're going to be good. You're going to be good. Okay? So here's the deal. Okay? Here's the deal. I want to just close with this. Okay? You got to make adjustments. You don't abandon. I've given you a lot of stuff here. Find the things that are calling out to you. Find the areas where you can make those tweaks. Probably not all of them. It's just different things. Add those in. Get working. But here's what you need to do. You got to write these goals out before the first. If you get to the first, you're too late, right? You got to write them out before the first. And then understand it's progress and not perfection. It's progress and not perfection, right? You got to be making progress. If you fall off the boat, don't stay out of the boat. Get back in and start again, right? Start again, get serious about it. And listen, anyone can start, but the key is consistency, feedback, and adjustment. So I've got a couple of questions I want to leave you with here. And I'm gonna tell you about a couple of things I'm super excited about. Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you serious about crushing your goals in 2021? Are you serious about crushing your goals in 2021? Are you serious about developing as a leader and making this year the year you look back on and say, this is a year that changed everything in my life because I got serious about becoming a master at setting goals, having systems and strategies, and staying consistent until the job got done. Okay, are you serious about this thing? So I've got 2 awesome offers for you here that I want to engage with you on because listen, 2 hours, this is a good start, but if you're serious, you gotta get to work. You gotta keep that thing moving, okay? And so number 1 is this. If you don't have a strategy to self-develop right now, if you're coming into the new year, you're like, I know I need to improve. Remember the I know I need to improve, but I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. I have no system, no process, okay? Well, now you do. I want to show Rick, if you can pull this up on the screen, okay? Many of you have done my byproduct masterclass. It is a 10-hour interactive video session, an 80-page workbook, 50 plus exercises on how to change the way you think. Some of you have done my recruiting masterclass. You're not even in recruiting businesses, okay? But you want to learn the psychology of why people make decisions. There's a workbook. It's a 5-hour class. You can break it up into sections. There's 50 exercises. Many of you I talked about earlier have done my 14-day challenge. 14 days, a daily session every day to get your mind right, your thinking right, and to take action on your goals. And then a lot of you just did my time management workshop. But guys, listen, if you haven't done those, okay, if you haven't done those, the retail on these is like almost $800 today only to people on this class, okay, to people on this webinar. Okay, if you text the word masterclass to 484848, you got to text it. We're not gonna send this out to you. We're not going to market this to you, okay? This is for action takers. This is for people only on here that say, I want a self-improvement plan. Okay, we're going to give you this bundle, all 4 of these guys. Listen, this will get you through the entire first quarter. If you did something every day in one of these 4 classes, every single day, I will give you the process to grow consistently. And you can do this every day. And for the first 3 months of the year, you got your self-improvement done. And if you pick this up in the next 24 hours, you get all 4 of those, okay, at 78% off. Okay, Rick, take that off the screen. Come back to me for a quick second. Okay, guys, look, 78% off. It's turnkey. You don't need to think like, what do I need to read? What do I need to do? What's a good book? What's a good podcast? You do all those things. Just go through the dadgum process. It's all done. So what do? You text the word masterclass one word, masterclass to 484848. What if you're out of the country and the texting doesn't work? Here's what you can do. You can email the word masterclass. Get this, write this down, to info@byproductbook.com. So that's info, I-N-F-O, at byproduct, B-Y-P-R-O-D-U-C-T, right? Book, all one word, byproductbook.com. You can see it in the chat. And you just say masterclass and we'll send you the link for that, okay? But guys, listen, I'm even more excited about this because here's the truth. Most of you are watching this and you're like, I'm tired of not achieving my goals. I get it going and then I stop. And the truth is you just need a little nudge. You need a little more consistency. And so I'm excited because I did this with my 14-day challenge participants last year. And it was the #1 reviewed thing that we did. People asked to keep going. I couldn't keep going. And I'm not going to keep going with this. Okay. But guys, listen, I want to invite you to join me in the 2021 Accelerator. The 2021 Accelerator. Rick, if you'll bring this up, what's the 2021 Accelerator? I'm making a commitment for the entire month of January, to take a small group of people and do a VIP coaching, strategy, Q&A, mastermind, and we're going to dial in on these goals, okay? We're going to dial in on these goals. This is for people who want more, who want another level of accountability, another level of commitment, okay? You want some feedback, you want some coaching, you're ready to rock, you just need a little more guidance, okay, a little more mentoring. And so I want to invite you to join me for the VIP Accelerator exclusive. And here's what this is. It's going to be a small group of leaders, okay, a small group of people who want to do something big, okay? And I'm going to personally mentor this small group every Sunday night and Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time for an hour. Every Sunday and every Friday in the month of January, I'm going to be on live coaching, answering questions, delivering content, diving deeper into this content, being able to let you ask and get situationally specific insight, okay? Every single Sunday and Friday for an hour. That's like 9 hours, okay? That's like 9 hours. I'm going to get you my daily goal tracker. And so in between the Fridays and Sundays, you're going to have the ability to every single day do the goal tracker, have your goals written in, have a consistency process, have an accountability system. We're going to have some prizes for people to get all the way through the month and don't miss a day on their goal tracker, okay? And guys, listen, okay, you're going to get more exclusive deep dive training. You're going to have access. We'll make a little Facebook group, a private group. Okay, you're going to have access to other leaders that are committed. But here's the deal. Here's what I want you to understand. I want to ask you a question. Okay, if this helps you just accomplish one major goal this year, would it be worth it? Because here's the deal. It's a commitment. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? This is not for everybody, okay? If you've got a great system, you're already hitting on all cylinders, you got great leaders in your life that are pouring into you, that are helping you with this stuff, this is not for you. This is for the people that say, you know what? I'm kind of stuck where I am, and I just need that little extra push, that little extra accountability. But this is a commitment of time. Listen, if you can't make the Friday, Sunday, this is not for you. Don't be a part of this, okay? We're not going to record these and send them to you later. I'm looking for people that are committed to that process. That's #1. #2 is there's going to be a financial commitment to this, okay? Why? Because what you don't pay for, you don't value. End of story, right? I've committed the entire month to be able to do this, but you got to commit as well, okay? You got to commit as well. And so, you know, if this is something you don't have the capacity to do that, don't spend your money on this. I don't want your money. I want your commitment. I want your commitment. I want you to show that you're committed to this process, okay? So listen, for serious people that are willing to make the commitment of time, that are willing to invest in themselves, I believe this is going to be the edge that you need to take this to the next level. So here's how you can get information on this. Again, we're not going to send this out to you. This is only for people who want to take action. We're going to shut off registration for it tomorrow night. It's over tomorrow night. You're in or you're out, no big deal. And here's how you get some information on this. You text the word goal. Is it goal or goals, Rick? Goals or goal? It's one of the two. He'll show us. Text the word goals to 484848. Text the word goals to 484848. If you don't have the ability to text, okay, you can email again the word goals to info@byproductbook.com. Okay, registration, go ahead and get it off the screen, Rick. Registration ends tomorrow. Okay, there's no late entries. Again, this is totally optional. I want you to understand that. Okay, my hope and prayer tonight is that you got a ton of stuff that you can take and that you can implement and you can act on, and that 2021 can be the greatest year you've ever had, because you're somebody new who's thinking new, who's ready to do something really, really big. My hope and prayer is you got immense value out of this, and we're going to send this out to you again free of charge. We're going to send this out to you tomorrow. Okay, so check your email from us. If you registered, you're going to get an email from us with this, the whole session. Okay, free of charge. You share it with whoever you want. It belongs to you. As our gift to you. I hope you had a great holiday season. Okay, and thank you for helping us to finish raising some funds to open this Angel House. Not just open it because we're going to open it, okay, but to open it right. A freshwater well, new clothes, new backpacks, new shoes, and giving these kids a shot. We're going to send out, listen, right in about 5 minutes, you're going to have a link to the Angel House. Again, it's a 501c3 charity. Okay, you can give directly to that. We don't touch it. It has nothing to do with us. You get a tax deduction. You help some kids. So I hope and pray that you consider that. And listen, have a happy, fulfilling, incredible, exciting new year. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this has made a difference in my life. Thank you for helping me to make a difference in yours. And again, you can text Masterclass to 484848. You can text goals to 484848. You can email, and we're going to shut those registrations down tomorrow. It's till tomorrow, and then it's done. And God bless you guys. Listen, I wish you the best. I know you're going to do incredible things. Take this information, apply it, use it, grow with it, go crush your goals this year, and have a fantastic and happy new year. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon.